Okay, so let me ask you this. Do you ever find yourself understanding English when it's spoken kind of slowly? But then the speed picks up and suddenly you feel completely overwhelmed. Like you've got the vocabulary, maybe you even know the grammar pretty well. But the words just seem to blur into this one long sound. Well, if that sounds familiar, you're definitely in the right place because on this deep dive, our mission, it isn't just about listing tips. We really want to uncover the why and the how. How do you get better at understanding rapid English? We've looked at some fascinating research, some really good insights, and we think this is going to be a shortcut for you to really get informed on transforming those listening skills. Because here's the thing, right? We often put so much focus on speaking, but our source material, it makes it really clear. Listening isn't just, important. It's actually the foundation. It's that first step, often overlooked, towards real fluency. You really can't jump into a conversation confidently until you've properly processed what's being said.
That's exactly right. A key insight, really, from all the sources is that good communication just hinges on comprehension. If you can't accurately decode spoken English, well, your ability to respond thoughtfully, spontaneously, it's really hampered. Strong listening skills are absolutely the bedrock. They let you do, well, 3 critical things. First, you can grasp the main idea quickly, right? Even if you miss a few words here and there. Second, you start to tune your ear to all the little nuances of pronunciation and the different accents you'll hear. And maybe most importantly, they immerse you in that natural rhythm, the phrases native speakers actually use. The stuff you don't always find laid out neatly in a textbook.
Oh, that difference between textbook English and, how people really talk, that's so important. It actually brings to mind this powerful analogy from the sources. Think about babies. They just listen for months, right? Fully immersed in the language around them, long before they even try to say their first words. And as adult learners, we kind of need to follow a similar path, this intentional process of just deep listening. It's how you build up that internal database, almost subconsciously, of sounds and intonation and how sentences fit together. Now, we know the common frustrations. We hear them all the time. Maybe it's just the sheer speed of native speakers or the way words kind of blend together and change sounds when people talk naturally. Connected speech, Or maybe it's just hitting words you don't know, that vocabulary gap. These are really universal hurdles. They're not like personal failings.
And that brings up a really, really important point our research looked at. Are these challenges just impossible to beat? Absolutely not. That's the most encouraging thing, I think. The takeaway from the sources is that these common problems, the speed, the weird pronunciation shifts, the vocabulary gaps, all of them can be significantly improved, even overcome, really. But it takes consistent, targeted, daily practice. It's about retraining your brain's auditory processing. And it's much more achievable than a lot of learners think.
Okay, great. So let's unpack this. Let's get into some of the most impactful, but maybe surprisingly simple daily strategies. These come straight from our source material, and they're not just, generic tips. They feel like battle-tested ways to speed up your listening comprehension. So let's kick off with strategy number 1, the power of daily immersion. It sounds simple, almost too simple maybe, but the science behind why it works is pretty deep.
Yeah, it's crucial here, even just 10 minutes a day. It's not just about repetition. It's about conditioning your brain. The sources really highlight this consistent, even brief exposure lets your auditory cortex kind of subconsciously start recognizing patterns. It starts predicting words, distinguishing sounds, building that neural pathway for understanding over time. Think of it like microdosing your brain with English. And the resources, they're endless. Podcasts, obviously, songs, movies, audiobooks, whatever you find interesting.
That makes total sense. You're not just passively listening. You're actively building a skill, rewiring things a bit. Okay, but what if even that initial listening feels just way too fast, overwhelming, or sources have a brilliant answer for that too? Which leads us right into strategy number 2. The art of perceptual adjustment starts slow, then speed up.
Right. And this isn't just about making it easier by slowing it down. It's about enabling something called perceptual learning. When you use tools, like, say, YouTube's playback speed options, you give your brain the time it needs, time to actually hear the individual sounds, the phonemes, and figure out where one word ends and the next begins, things that just blur together at normal speed. Then, as you gradually increase the speed back up, your brain starts automating those recognition processes. It makes those connections stronger, more adaptable. It's kind of like learning to see the individual brush strokes before you step back and see the whole painting.
That's a fantastic way to put it. Okay, so once you start discerning those individual bits, how do you really make them stick? Internalize them. That brings us nicely to strategy number 3. Active echoing, listen, and repeat. This isn't just mindless mimicking, is it? It's described as a really powerful feedback loop.
Exactly. The genius of this technique, really, is how it trains two things at once: your listening comprehension and your speaking fluency, your articulation. When you pause after a sentence and then you say it out loud, you're not just copying. You're engaging what's called your articulatory loop. It's a kind of short-term memory system. It connects the sounds you hear with the actual physical movements of your mouth and tongue. This really strengthens the neural links between hearing something and saying something. It helps solidify new words, natural phrasing, in a way that just passively listening can't quite achieve. You're basically teaching your mouth what your ears just learned.
Wow, okay. So it's like building muscle memory for the language, not just understanding it in your head. All right, now let's tackle one of the biggest anxieties learners have, that feeling you have to understand every single word. Our sources offer some real relief here with strategy number 4. The scaffolding of meaning. Focus on keywords.
Yes, this is such a critical mindset shift, because in real-time listening, the goal is almost never word-for-word translation. The sources emphasize that native speakers actually convey meaning through, well, a relatively sparse signal, key information points. Your focus should be on spotting the semantic anchors, like names, numbers, action verbs, the main nouns, the words carrying the core idea. Think of it like connecting the dots, maybe. Even if you miss a few dots, if you connect the important ones, the big picture still emerges. We saw one case study in the research where learners who shifted their focus away from catching every single word towards just identifying these main anchors, their comprehension confidence just soared, even if their literal word-for-word accuracy didn't hit 100% right away.
That is such a liberating thought. Okay, focus on the essence. Don't get bogged down in every little preposition or article. And finally, for those times when you do need a bit more support, like a visual guide, our sources present strategy number 5, the dual-layer approach strategic subtitle use, and there's a specific, very effective way to use them, apparently.
Indeed. It's a two-step process. Step 1. Listen with the subtitles, especially if the material's challenging. This lets you explicitly map the sounds you're hearing onto the written words. It reinforces spelling, vocabulary, basically building a strong sound-to-symbol connection in your brain. But, and this is the crucial second step that people often skip in it, you need to re-listen to that same clip or segment without the subtitles. This forces your brain into active recall mode. It tests your pure listening comprehension. It pushes you to internalize it more deeply, without the text crutch. It's like a progressive fade-out that builds real listening independence.
These strategies are just incredibly practical. And to really put them into action, the source material highlights this great daily exercise. It actually sounds kind of fun. Find any short English audio clip, like just 15 to 30 seconds, it's fine. Play it. And then just meticulously write down every single word you can make out. Don't stress about perfect spelling or grammar, just capture what you hear. Then check what you wrote against the actual script or the subtitles. The research seems really clear on this. Doing this auditory transcription exercise consistently, daily, it will seriously hone your ear. It dramatically improves your ability to pick out individual words and phrases, even when things get fast. So, wrapping things up a bit, what does all this mean for your journey to mastering English listening? Well, our source material sums up the whole philosophy with this really compelling analogy. Listening is like going to the gym. The more you do it, the stronger your comprehension gets. It's presented as a direct link, Dedicated practice leads to tangible results. You get stronger.
Exactly. And we really genuinely encourage you listening to apply these strategies. Start today, even if it's just a focused 10 minutes. But done consistently, using these techniques, it will yield a significant, noticeable difference in how well you understand. It's about building that momentum, right? Not just trying to force it all at once.
Ultimately, yeah, the insights from our deep dive really boil down to this powerful, memorable line from the source material. Listen more, understand more, speak better.
And if we just expand on that slightly.
Yeah.
It's not just a catchy phrase. It's fundamentally true. When you genuinely enhance your ability to understand spoken English, it directly unlocks greater fluency. And not just knowing more words, but real confidence, spontaneity in conversation. It really opens up new avenues for genuine connection, for participating fully in discussions, for actually expressing yourself without that hesitation. It's not just about learning a language. It's really about empowering your voice in the world.